Well, ladies and gentlemen, after the disastrous Kamala Harris loss a week ago, there are rumors swirling. Will Biden step down? There's been some movement in terms of the betting action, people speculating, wondering if he will. I mean, there was some dude on CNN that said Biden should just do it to cause a disruption and it would get liberals in the news. I mean, these people are very, very desperate, but it really makes no sense. You can see this is what I said yesterday. Biden stepping down now would just tarnish the idea of the first female president. Kamala, she would just legit be a lame duck the entire time. Most women would be pissed. And so could you imagine that dynamic to where, listen, if you were going to put Kamala as the president, that would have been like your big October surprise, or you would have done it in September. The idea that you would do it now, right after she lost in a humiliating fashion, it would just be pathetic, and she would just be a lame duck. If Biden steps down right now, she takes over until January 20th, Trump's inauguration, and it's the most pathetic thing ever. And I don't even think most women would accept her as the first female president, considering she just lost and she shouldn't have even been the nominee in the first place. She didn't win the primaries. So she doesn't win the primaries. She loses every swing state. She loses the popular vote. And now she's the president for like 4 months right after she lost, or not, excuse me, not 4 months, for a few months, like 3.5 or something like that. But either way, when it comes down to it, I don't think this would ever happen. It would be hilarious because it's like the first female president would just be a legit lame duck the entire time she served right after losing an election she shouldn't have even been in. But so I don't think that's going to happen, but could you imagine if it does? I think it's just speculation. Remember, there was a lot of speculation back in late August, early September, that the Democrats' October surprise was going to be Biden stepping down for Kamala and Kamala becoming the first female president. They did not do that, obviously. And I think their October surprise was the Hitler general quote. I'm guessing that's what it was, because that happened about a week and a half or like 2 weeks right before the election. And you had all the major media picking up on it and saying this is a new big bombshell. And so that's what I think the Democrats' October surprise was. Obviously, it didn't work at all. I knew they were going to have nothing, but that's just the reality when it comes to their October surprise. We'll have to see, though, if Biden does end up stepping down. My guess is absolutely not. There's really no reason to. And there's no purpose other than making a headline. She just got destroyed. Why would anyone want her in the White House? I think they're just going to leave Biden. Biden's been a lame duck the past 3 or 4 months ever since he said he wasn't running. So really nothing's changed with him. It's still status quo. I mean, you see him running out on sand. He's trying to just keep his balance, so he has to run. I mean, I showed that video yesterday. It's unbelievable. But that's just where he is at this point with his age. Seems like he wants to have a good relationship with Trump. I mean, at this point, with how old he is, I think he's tired of fighting, and he's going to be meeting with Trump. Talk about the transition on Wednesday, so that'll be happening tomorrow. How about this? How about all these liberal accounts crying, whining like they're 5-year-old children? I lost followers. I lost subscribers. These people. Why did I lose 20,000 followers? It's like, you're going to get them back. Calm down. Listen, if you tell people that the candidate is going to win and then the candidate loses, you're going to lose subscribers. I would have lost subscribers as well. I'm not going to sit there and cry about it like a little child and say, why is this happening? It's like, okay, whatever. I lost 5,000 subscribers. I'll get it back. It's not a big deal. But these liberals, they cry about it. They're like, we're all losing subscribers. Yeah, you constantly told people Kamala was going to win and she got destroyed. She didn't just lose, she got destroyed. So do you think people are just going to say, it's all right, the past 4 months you've just been lying and blatantly wrong. It's fine. It's not a big deal. The people will resubscribe. But people get angry. They unsubscribe if you're wrong. I mean, that's what happens, especially with something like the election. You've got this. And guys, these ballot dumps are killers. So this was a Wisconsin ballot dump that happened at 3 a.m., believe it or not. And this is because I was wondering, during election at like 1, 2 a.m., right before I stopped my live stream, because I stopped my live stream and then Trump spoke after, and I was watching him off stream speak. That was around 3 a.m. But it was looking like Wisconsin was going to be right around, because at that point, Wisconsin and Pennsylvania were right around 3-point margins. And this is where it was. Now, this looks a lot bigger, but that's because it's zoomed in. This is like a 3-point margin right here. And then at like 3, 4 a.m., so the only thing that could explain this, because it looks like Trump getting about 5% of the votes in that ballot dump, Harris getting about 95%. That would have to be like an inner city mail-in dump or something. It's just crazy how the percentage of votes that Harris would get off of that dump versus Trump. But this is exactly why the next day I woke up and I was like, wait, Wisconsin's within a point? Now it makes sense because Wisconsin was a 3-point lead at like 2, 3 a.m. And that's Hovde losing, by the way, when they did this dump. This ballot dump caused Hovde to lose the Senate race because Hovde was at like an 85% chance to win when you look at the betting. But the Wisconsin was the one state because Pennsylvania, like the states will get closer even once you get to like 93, 94% in, especially if it's early voting from inner cities, big cities. It's going to be heavily Democrat, and so the states will close significantly in terms of if Trump's up by 4 or 5. Remember, Trump was up by 3 in Pennsylvania. I think he closed plus 1.9. I don't know what the margin in Wisconsin closed as, but he was up by like 3 to 3.5 with like 85% of the vote in. And then they do the massive ballot dump. The last 15% is like all Harris votes or mostly Harris votes, and it closes the gap significantly. Remember what happened in 2020? 2020 was a different story with the way they counted and how bad it was in the Rust Belt. It was terrible versus what it is now. California is terrible. By the way, California is at 76% of the vote in. I mean, it's a week later. Like it's just a horribly run state. I'm not even sure if they're just going to be like, we don't have to count the rest of it. Well, you know what? They will count the rest of it because it's going to help Harris in terms of the popular vote, but she's still going to lose it by like a point and a half, well, maybe 1.3. I think that's a projection right now. But either way, just looking at this makes total sense now because I was like, how did Wisconsin get that close? Because it was 3.5. Now Michigan, I could understand. Pennsylvania, I could understand. But Wisconsin was the one with the massive ballot dump. You get these huge liberal ballot dumps towards the end that make it really close, or like we saw in 2020, push the Democrat over the edge. And like we saw with Hovde, cause him to lose. So that's interesting there. You've got all these liberals. So this is the ultimate paradigm. You've got a liberal recording herself angry because conservatives are laughing at other liberals recording themselves being angry. If you're going to set up a camera and start screaming, you want attention, that's what you want. Many of these liberals are very happy that conservatives are making fun of them. If you're seriously embarrassed by your reaction to the election, you're not going to sit there and record yourself for attention and for views. This girl is angry because people are laughing at people recording themselves, literally trying to generate that reaction. When you record yourself screaming inside of a car like that black chick did when she's like, I mean, it's obvious she's doing it up. It's the next day. And she's trying to get views, and she did. I mean, it went viral. Republican conservatives laughed at it. It was, that's what she wants. And then this girl's like, if you're making fun of people for screaming into the camera for 10 seconds, you're a horrible person. It's like, what? This just makes no sense. And so now you're going to record yourself telling us we shouldn't laugh at other people screaming into the camera as they record themselves because they want views? It made none of this. These people make no sense. You've got Jill Biden refused to even look at Kamala. Was this recently? I mean, it's very obvious that Jill and Kamala don't like each other, and I think that's another thing. Jill and Hunter are not going to allow. Remember Jill and Hunter back in the summer, the influence that they had? I don't think they're going to allow Joe to step down to put in Kamala as the first female president. And again, I don't think that would ever happen because it just would be a horrible dynamic, the first female president being a total lame duck after just getting destroyed in the general election. So I don't think that would ever happen. But yeah, it's very clear that they've and this is just a zoomed out version of Wisconsin. And yeah, it's interesting to see Wisconsin. I mean, early on, Wisconsin was always very close. Early on in the night, Harris was winning Pennsylvania and she was winning Michigan because of day of votes that got dumped right away. I think it was the county surrounding Detroit and then Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia as well. Those counties dropped. But in Wisconsin, it was always within a point, and then Trump ends up going ahead, and then they call it like we knew Trump was going to win like right around here because he's up by like 3.5 points. And then this is like, I think this is around 3:34 a.m. because I remember waking up with Wisconsin and I was like, how did Wisconsin get to be within a point? But that's what it is. I mean, it has to be this massive dump. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense based on the dynamic of how the votes are counted. But they do these massive dumps, and it's just like, is this early voting from I mean, how is there a dump that, maybe early voting from inner city? I don't know, but it is crazy. Either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.